Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for another episode of Who in the Hell is Bo-Katan Kryze? Welcome, everybody. Before I get started, let me take care of some business first, then we'll get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, at the very end of this video, you're going to see a video pop up here. Basically, what YouTube does, takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching, tries to match it as best as possible. One of the videos in my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. If you want to know when I'm going to be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. Also, I have all the links to my social media, so Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. No tier set up on the Patreon. Waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers. That way, if you're giving me money, I'm going to give you something in return. I also have links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and for those of you who still have Facebook, a Facebook group page where you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. All right, let's get down to it. So who is Bo-Katan Kryze? We know we've seen her, of course, in The Mandalorian live action. Before that, she was actually in the animated Clone Wars, Star Wars The Clone Wars, also in Star Wars Rebels as well. Her first appearance in the Clone Wars was actually in Season 4, Episode 14. And she's been involved with lots of different factions, shall we say. So originally about 19 years before actually 20 years before the Battle of Yavin there, Death Star 1, for those of you playing at home, her sister Satine was the Duchess of Mandalore and was going more towards a kinder, gentler Mandalore, if you were. And there was a group of people that did not want that. They wanted more of the militant Mandalorians, and they created Death Watch. And as a result of this, Bo-Katan actually joined Death Watch and had a group of people under her called the Night Owls. She was actually lieutenant in the Death Watch. Death Watch, because it was such a terrorist organization, was exiled from Mandalore and the Mandalorian system. And while they were in exile, they met up with Darth Maul and his brother Savage Opress, who were basically on the run because they got their ass kicked by Kenobi. And they plotted with them, of course, to retake Mandalore. And at this time, Maul actually united several different crime syndicates and actually formed what was called the Shadow Collective. So for a time there, Bo-Katan was actually part of the Shadow Collective as well. And they ended up taking over Mandalore and installing Pre Vizsla as ruler of Mandalore. And basically he became leader and overthrew Satine. They threw her in jail. So at this point, Maul's like, you know what? I know enough about Mandalorian ways. I'm going to challenge you to a duel. And he did, and killed Pre Vizsla and took over Mandalore. And he becomes head of Mandalore. At this point, Bo-Katan's like, yeah, fuck you, Maul. We don't agree with this. You're not Mandalorian. You shouldn't be in charge of Mandalore. And she and a couple other people of Death Watch leave. And, of course, they vow to fight against him at this point. At this point, because Maul does not want his presence known, he installs Prime Minister Almec as a kind of a puppet head of Mandalore at this point. So Kryze and a small group of Death Watch members, of course, they are always fighting against Maul at this point, and they break her sister out of prison, Satine out of prison. They contact Obi-Wan to help them out. But Obi-Wan, of course, cannot basically bring all the Republic to Mandalore because there's a 100-year-old treaty between the Republic and Mandalore, and if the Republic shows up in force, it breaks that treaty and there's going to be an all-out war. So it's going to be another war on another front, which the Republic wants nothing to do with. So Obi-Wan comes by himself. Big mistake, of course. This is exactly what Maul wanted. He ends up getting both Obi-Wan and Satine. He captures both of them and kills Satine. So, by the way, Satine actually had, it was alluded to that her and Obi-Wan had a relationship that was more than just friends. And he left because, of course, he was in the Jedi Order and wasn't supposed to have that. So he knows a little bit about what Anakin's going through with Padme. This was something that was done in the animated series to show that Obi-Wan actually knew where Anakin was coming from, and that's why he kind of turned a blind eye to it. Supposedly, he knew what was going on, but he just let it go. So at this point, Obi-Wan, of course, is pissed because he's killed Satine. Um, and Kryze and her Night Owls actually free Obi-Wan, and this sets off a civil war on Mandalore at this point. Because what is this guy doing from the Republic there? Why is he interfering in Mandalorian politics? Blah, 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 blah. It sets off a gigantic civil war. So as Obi-Wan is leaving Mandalore, Kryze, Bo-Katan actually asks him to request that the Republic gets notified about what's going on with Darth Maul there. And it's not until almost a year later that they're actually able to get the Republic to come back and drive Maul off of Mandalore. Yeah. And at this point, Bo-Katan is actually Lady Bo-Katan, I should say. Lady Bo-Katan Kryze is made regent of Mandalore. But when she refuses to follow Galactic Emperor Palpatine, remember he just gets made Emperor, Galactic Emperor at this point, she loses her position to Clan Saxon and gets kicked out at this point. And it's under Clan Saxon that we find out that Maul is back again, and he's got his fingers in Clan Saxon as well, and he's kind of manipulating them as well. And they reappoint Prime Minister Almec back into power of Mandalore. Yeah, all kinds of fucked up now again. So Ahsoka Tano by this time is out of the Jedi Order, and she is doing her own stuff. And she runs into the Pike clan, out in the basically it's a crime syndicate, and finds out that Darth Maul is running a new crime syndicate called Crimson Dawn. And of course, Bo-Katan at this point is also following Maul because she's trying to find out where his whereabouts are so she can kill him. And they both join together at this point and bring their, everything that they know. They know that he's going to be on Mandalore at a certain point in time, and they bring it to both Anakin and Obi-Wan, who are in the final days of the Republic here. This is where we're just starting to lead into Revenge of the Sith, Episode 3. And as they present their case, Obi-Wan's like, well, that's all fine and good, but we can't do anything about it. If we bring the troops to Mandalore to do something about this, we break the treaty, we start another war. And Ahsoka's like, so what's another war? Kind of thing. And Anakin's like, well, we haven't finished our first one yet, is what he says, kind of in smartass. I should say Bo-Katan actually asks, what's another war to you guys? And Anakin says, well, we haven't finished our first one yet, So they come up with the idea, or Anakin comes up with the idea to split the 501st in half, and half go with Ahsoka Tano as an advisor, and they've of course elevated Rex to commander now at this point, and of course with Bo-Katan and her group of Night Owls. So they go to Mandalore, and that's when we have the siege of Mandalore happen, and the capture of Maul, and the reinstallation of Bo-Katan as leader of the Mandalorian people. But at the same time, you also have the Republic now as an occupying force because they had to go in and do the siege of Mandalore and all this stuff. And at this point, the Republic is changing over to the Galactic Empire. So the Galactic Empire is now occupying Mandalore. Yeah, it's kind of a pretty shitty thing. So what happens now at this point is that Bo-Katan is not, dealing with this. Neither are the people of Mandalore. And another bloody civil war, or not a civil war, but basically all-out violence happens. And she, of course, loses her position as leader at this point, Bo-Katan. And all the houses start fighting amongst themselves as well. They become very, they go back to this, houses fighting against each other. And this is what the Empire wants. They do not want a united Mandalore, because otherwise, if there's a united Mandalore, they're going to fight against the Empire and most likely take out the Empire in its infancy. So 20 years later, about 20 years later, we get Clan Ren um, ends up choosing to resist the Empire at this point. And this puts him in direct conflict with Clan Saxon, and who they're Imperial loyalists at this point because they're weasels as they are. So um, this is going to lead to another civil war on Mandalore at this point. Bo-Katan, in the meantime, has been fighting against the Imperial rule, the Empire, Clan Saxon, as another Mandalorian resistance. She already started one before. She's got another one now at this point, and is helping out Sabine Wren, who, of course, is with the Star Wars Rebels crew that we know. Hera Syndulla, and Ezra Miller, of course, and Ezra Bridger, excuse me. Ezra Miller's an actor. Ezra Bridger, and yeah, so we're fighting another front at this point. And at this point, Sabine Wren also has the dark saber. The dark saber being a lightsaber from the first Mandalorian Jedi from 1,000 years ago who united Mandalore underneath this. So as a result of Bo-Katan's actions, helping out the people of Mandalore and all of this stuff, Clan Ren is looking for someone to take the dark saber and actually unite Mandalore with it. And they think that Bo-Katan is the right person for this, so they bestow the dark saber upon her at this point to unite Mandalore. And she has the rally support of several clans at this point. So this is, of course, about roughly 9 years before the Battle of Yavin. Somewhere around there is where it's at. Excuse me, 2 years before the Battle of Yavin. So 2 years, that's right. And then we don't know exactly what happens, but we know that at some point we have what's called the Great Purge. And at this point, sometime after the Great Purge, this is when Grand Moff Gideon gets possession of the dark saber, and this is where we come over into the Mandalorian, which is now 5 years after the Battle of Endor, and Bo-Katan is hunting down the dark saber. She's hunting down Grand Moff Gideon, looking for the dark saber so that she can reunite Mandalore and get back to Mandalore and rebuild it. And that is what her plans are, and that's where we're at so far. So this is all who Bo-Katan Kryze actually is as a character. Again, there's a lot of backstory. So why I'm doing these who in the hell is to kind of fill in some of the backstories of these characters that have had a rich backstory in other mediums that you might not have watched. A lot of you might not have watched the animated Clone Wars or animated Rebels, but you have watched The Mandalorian, and now you have questions as to what the hell is going on there. Who is this character that everyone, all your fanboy friends are going, holy shit, we actually get to see her live. That's the reason why I have this going on. Kind of fills it in so you don't have to go back and watch a couple of seasons of animated stuff just to get, or watch I believe it's roughly about 5 hours, 6 hours of episodes in order to fill you in on what her character is, or episodes that her character is actually directly associated with. So yeah, otherwise, if you're not up to that, that's fine. That's what this is for. So what else do I have going on for the rest of this week? The rest of this week, Monday is going to be His Dark Materials. That's right, His Dark Materials. Tuesday is going to be Is It Worth My Time? Danger 5 is what I'm going to be doing. It's Danger 5 on Amazon Prime. It's an old Australian, or not an old, a 2011 Australian series. It's a whacked out series. I highly recommend it. Wednesday is going to be the return of The Expanse. That's right, The Expanse comes back on Wednesday. So yes, I will be doing episode 1. I know episodes 1, 2, and 3 drop, but I'm going to be doing 2 and 3 later on. I'll get to that in a second. Thursday I'm going to have off. Friday, of course, is the season finale of The Mandalorian. Come by and watch that one because I will be giving away prizes. Yes, not on that episode, but the week after. Saturday is Saturday Morning Blast Off, where I take the genre news of the week and any other genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. And then Sunday is episodes 2 and 3 of The Expanse. That's right, we wrap all the way around to that. You notice that there is no Who in the Hell Is this next week because The Expanse is back, and I haven't seen any characters as of yet that have popped up that need any more explanation. So once that happens, then Who in the Hell Is will come back again. Unless you guys want something else, then as long as I know who the character is and I've got a little bit of knowledge of that character, I'll take a stab at it. Why not? So, with that said, I'm going to let you guys go for the day or night, whenever you're watching this. Thank you, everybody. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, if you get that like and the share button as well. If you want to know when I'll be on live again next, hit that bell. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule that's up there. I change it out every week, like I said. I have all the links to my social media. All the links to my pages are on there as well. So this YouTube channel, Facebook, and Facebook group page. With that said, thank you, everyone. I will see you again on Monday live. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may lose a Darksaber multiple times and having to reunite Mandalore each and every time afterwards. And it gets kind of exhausting. Thanks, everyone. I will see you again. Stay safe. Be well. Take care. And have a good one wherever you're at. Thanks.